Hey everybody, Alex Kazor, SteelersDepot.com back for another Pittsburgh Steelers tape breakdown and analysis. And this video today is going to be obvious and also not so obvious. To the obvious point, as you can tell and judge by the title, that Big Ben is playing really well this year, and he's been an obvious and central key cog to the offense's resurgence after just a miserable 2019 without him. And so it's obvious to say that Ben's playing great and should at least be in the MVP conversation, even though he's unlikely to win it. But more specifically, one of the reasons, and there's several, but one of the reasons why he's playing so well is his anticipation and getting the ball out on time and being a rhythm quarterback that really makes life easy on his receivers. So a lot of examples we'll kind of speed through today that show the same element, but Ben getting the ball out on time, on schedule, and on target to his receivers. These two examples come from the past 2 weeks, week 10 against the Bengals, and then last Sunday, week 11 against Jacksonville. And all these examples show that common thread of Ben throwing his guys open and throwing the ball even before the receiver has made his break and just basically anticipating the receiver is going to get open in time and putting the ball right on target. This is Deontay Johnson's 12-yard touchdown on a slant against the Bengals in the late first quarter of the week 10 blowout win over Cincinnati. And just to break this one down, again, you just see where how quickly Ben releases this ball, just a quick drop back, and then the ball is out well before Johnson's even coming out of his break to run this slant. I mean, the ball's out there, and Johnson is just about ready to stem and break to the inside on the slant. And so we'll run it through, and basically, as soon as he gets his head around, the ball is right on top of him. He makes a really good catch and gets in the end zone for a 12-yard score. So that is the definition of just not necessarily, I guess, throwing the guy open, but just getting the ball out on time. So as soon as the receiver's there, the ball is also there. As soon as the receiver gets his head around, and the cornerback really has no chance to make a play on the football because the receiver barely has a chance to make a play on it, but just enough time to fit it in there in the red zone like this. Really key moment here. So for Ben, again, as soon as the receiver gets his head around, the ball's there. Cornerback just has no chance to compete at the catch point here, and it's a 12-yard touchdown. We'll look at it again from the top down view and just right on the money to Johnson. Nice catch because that is a difficult play because you're just seeing the ball a second that you get your head around after you break on a slant. So one last look at it here. Again, ball's out from Ben. Johnson's not even coming out of his break yet, but by the time he does, the ball's there and it's 7 points. Take a look at another one of Ben's touchdowns against the Bengals. This one is to Juju on this crosser, this over route, and just overall a great rep from Ben, feeling the pressure, hitching up, climbing the pocket, getting his eyes downfield, and then just being a very anticipatory quarterback of throwing Juju open, knowing where he's going to be by the time the ball actually gets there. Look at it here. Defensive end here comes off the edge clean. Ben sees it, hitches up, gets his eyes downfield at the last second. I don't even know how he really saw Juju here, but by the time Ben releases his football and he has to release it now, I mean, Juju's covered up here by, I believe this is the linebacker, but he knows that Ben's leading him into the open window and knows Juju's going to come across into that open window. So let me go ahead and run this thing through. And by the time the ball gets there, Juju's now in that next window between the two Bengals defenders, and it's a touchdown. That's not the safety. That is the linebacker, I should say. That's a safety, Von Bell, that Ben threw it away from. But again, just throwing your guy open in between those windows. Again, these are red zone plays. These are tight window plays. And when Ben throws it, the receiver's covered, I should say, when Ben throws it. But by the time the ball actually gets there, the receiver's open. And again, it's in the touchdown for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So one last look at the play. Again, really good job here. Movement within the pocket. And then throwing the football off balance, off platform, muddy pocket, pressure behind him. Juju's covered. But when the ball gets there, Ben leads them into the open window, and it's a Pittsburgh Steelers touchdown. Tough throw here, 24 yards to Eric Ebron, line 3 by 1. Ebron here isolated as the backside tight end here. And this is a middle of the field close play. This is a cover three deep look, safety middle of the field. So this is a tough throw to try to throw any sort of poster in breaking route over the middle against middle of the field close. And so this ball has to come out early on time and really, just have to be on rhythm with this throw because if you're a little late with it, that safety's either going to pick it off or he's going to rock the receiver on this play. So again, Ben on schedule, just a short drop back, ball's out. Ebron not even out of his break yet, gets his head around, the ball's there. Maybe a little bit behind, but that's probably intentional. So he's not leading him, meaning Ebron into the single eye safety here, Jesse Bates. And so this is just a great throw against a tough coverage here. Middle of the field close, ball's out. Again, The ball's well out here for Ben, and Ebron, as you can tell, has not even gotten his head around. But if you're late on this throw, your guy's either going to get killed or it's going to get picked off by the safety. Instead, ball's really on time here, and it's a 24-yard gain for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So just a great rhythm throw. It's kind of the old bang eight the Cowboys used to ran Aikman to Irvin. Just run this little skinny post here, and it's a great throw and catch. Three more examples from Sunday against the Jaguars, and all three of these are very similar. So I'll go through them quicker than I did the Bengals game because you're kind of getting the point by now, I'm sure. But again, this is just rhythm, timing, throwing the ball before the receivers really even made his break, either coming out of his break or even going into his break in some cases. And by the time the ball is there, by the time the receiver gets out of his break, the ball is there. And you see that to this completion, Deontay Johnson, just 7 yard gain, but second and 10 puts you in third and short right here. So let's go through this thing frame by frame. Ben, just short drop back. And again, ball's out. Johnson just starting to get into his break, but against the off coverage cornerback, ball's on time and it's a 7 yard pickup to Deontay Johnson. And while this isn't really a risky throw because the cornerback ultimately is playing off, if you're late on these type of throws in the NFL against tighter press man coverage, these cornerbacks are going to pick them off because they're going to be able to read the route and then break on the football, undercut it, and pick it off. So you got to be really early on these throws. If you're not early on these throws, you're late. It's basically the mentality I think you have as a quarterback here. And so not the most difficult throw because the cornerback is off, but Ben on time here, ball out, super quick, and it's a nice completion to Johnson. Same idea, a little tougher throw here from Ben later in the game against Jacksonville. Trips bunch to the field side. Chase Claypool is going to run this out route about 10 yards. And again, ball on time, on rhythm to Claypool. Cornerback has no chance here, but if you're late with it, the cornerback's going to be able to make a play. So Ben, three-step drop. As soon as that third step hits, the ball's coming out and leads Claypool perfectly along the sideline. So look at it here. Again, this is the far field too. This is not the boundary throw, so it's a little bit tougher to do because you got more ground to have to make on the throw. But three-step drop, one, two, three, ball's out on rhythm. Again, Claypool just coming out of his break by the time Ben throws it. And again, if you're late on this throw, if the receiver's already out of his break and then you try to throw it, you're going to get picked by this quarterback and potentially pick six. Instead, it's a nice completion to Chase Claypool on third and six. The chains move. Pittsburgh keep the drive alive, and against the blitz as well. Jacksonville brought a lot of pressure. Ben, rhythm passer, was able to defeat it. And finally, very similar to the last play, another 10-yard completion to Chase Claypool. This is a boundary throw, so it's not as much distance to travel, but same idea for Ben out of the gun. One, two, three, drop on that third step. We're going to get the ball out quickly. Again, Claypool's not even out of his break yet, so the cornerback really is not able to anticipate and drive on the football, and it's on the money. And I believe this one was actually tipped and grazed by defensive lineman as well. And so that kind of shows you the velocity that Ben has on some of these throws for the ball to still get there on time with good placement, despite it being grazed here. I think maybe you can kind of see it on the end zone view. You know, one of these defensive linemen, I think this end here, kind of gets a finger on it, but the pass is on the money, right in stride to Claypool, who makes a really strong catch along the sidelines, and it's a 10-yard gain on first and 10 to kind of keep the drive going and in rhythm. So Ben, very much as this offense in this past game has been very much on schedule, on rhythm, and I think just Ben's anticipation and timing and ball placement on some of these out routes, especially to some young receivers like Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, new guy in Eric Ebron, all the receivers he's throwing to in this video, the timing has been excellent, and that's rhythm and chemistry that's built up well. But Ben's really in control, getting the ball out of his hand quickly, not getting sacked, not getting pressured, not leading to mistakes and things like that. So very much an on time, on rhythm offense, and it's been impressive to see. And of course, Ben is the driver for Pittsburgh's success offensively this year, and why they have a really good chance to not only make a deep run in the playoffs, but hopefully win a Super Bowl in February. So that's our video for today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.